Welcome back to another episode of the Power Podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Stephanie, with us. She is into sourcing. And yes, Stephanie, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I reside in USA. And yes, I do sourcing for companies, for designers, for brands that want to make product and they don't know how to make it. So they have an idea. It could be textiles, apparel, shoes, accessories. And now they want to bring this product to life and to market. So I find a vendor that is overseas typically that can make that product for them at the right price, quality, compliance.
Okay, so let's moving forward to our first question. How do you build a sourcing strategy?
Great question. I look at the current company. I look and see what are they producing and where. And then I start identifying opportunities or holes or things that I think they should be thinking about. Maybe they are too heavily in one country. Maybe they are in a country with a high duty. Maybe they're working with a vendor that doesn't meet certain compliance or testing capabilities, or they're just paying too much and have high minimums and long lead times. So I look at the current lay of the land, what is they currently producing? And then I start building a sourcing strategy that would identify short-term goals and long-term goals. And the short-term goals are things that maybe can be fixed very fairly quickly. Like maybe it's like negotiating the terms with that vendor or the minimums. And then I look at longer term goals that would require maybe vetting additional vendors or maybe even exiting vendors. So my sourcing strategy is really broken out into two parts, long-term and short-term. I also look to bring things to the table that maybe the company wasn't thinking of. I check to see if testing is part of their protocol. I look to see what documents they use for vetting a vendor and see if there's opportunity there. I also look to see if they can do things better and maybe they need to add costing or compliance to their current protocol. And then maybe even sustainability as well, which is a big buzzword today, but I think very important for the future of production.
So my next question is, how do you find vendors?
So because I've been doing sourcing for many, many years, two things. I have a very vast network. I have traveled extensively overseas. I have vendors I've worked with. I have vendors that I've met and maybe not worked with. I have vendors that maybe I work with them at one company, they've moved to another. So in my vast network, I usually by first default will go to my current network when I'm looking for something. And maybe there's a reason why I'm picking this vendor or this country. And it would be to support the sourcing strategy. But my first goal or my first stab at finding a new vendor for that organization is using my own network. And then if that doesn't suffice, if that's not filling the need of what I'm looking for, then I start networking my network. And I will start to reach out to my network and say, I'm looking for XYZ, but do you know somebody? Could you help me there? Is there someone in your network? So now to me, that's like a referral. Instead of just I don't blind call like someone I don't know on LinkedIn or just randomly a factory at a fair. Like it really requires that personal relationship that's connected somehow, some way.
Third and last question is, why do you do this job?
Well, I've become very passionate about it. So I've gotten into sourcing back in the day when sourcing wasn't truly like a career or a job title per se. But I got it. My goal for getting in was a little interesting. It was because I actually like to travel. And doing this actually has gotten me a lot of extensive international travel. And I've been to some amazing countries and have great friendships over the years because of it. So I got into sourcing because of travel. But what it's now turned into is so much friendships, network, fun. I find this really both exciting. And because it's exciting, I'm very passionate about it. I've seen sourcing change over the years and from what it once was. I've also worked with brands that maybe they have one goal and it's to find a cheaper product, but over time, the goals can change and I feel like I'm solving problems and having impact. So now I can sustain sustainably, or maybe I can have impact in how I allocate, or maybe I convert a vendor that was not fair trade into fair trade. So I do feel by this job and what I'm able to do, both the friendships that's so important, but really I feel like I have impact and it's really turned into my passion.